Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we go. Here we go. It's People to People with Rodney Grimes. People to People with Rodney Grimes. Good evening. First of all, let me apologize for not coming on Monday. We had Motivation Monday. There was a lot going on, and it was just a lot going on. So my apologies. We try to be consistent and be focused on coming to the public, to the community, to the DMV on a regular basis. We got Motivation Monday. Let's talk about it Wednesday, Date Night Friday, and then we do our specials. We could do a special on a Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday, Sunday as well too. Also, you know, coming up next week is The Man in the Mirror. So make sure you tune in because that's going to be powerful. We got some powerful guests coming in on that program. We also have some other programs lined up coming up. Before I even get started, I want to say happy birthday to some people. So let's start off. How about we saying happy birthday to Miss Alice Williams, the queen of the DMV. Happy anniversary to Troy and Desi. Come on now, yes. Hey, them lovebirds doing what they do, making that marriage work, moving forward. Much love to them. Also, Kim Lee, happy birthday. Mariah Staten, happy birthday. Tiffany Amber. What's this? This is Tyson Martin. Kimberly Michelle. These are all, and okay, and then Kimberly Michelle and her daughter China, I believe, had the same. They was born. The China was born on her birthday, so they celebrating their birthday together. And Chucky Wanza from Alexandria. Yo, kudos to all those individuals. Happy birthday to everyone. And if I didn't call out your name, please don't be offended. It's not intentional. But happy birthday to all those people. I hope that you are blessed and enjoying your birthday. And understand, don't take it lightly, because not everybody get that opportunity to see a birthday moving into the direction where you are now. So as I understand, Miss Alice turned 60 years old. So, hey, at 60, you know, you got to do what you got to do, Alice. Come on, handle your business. Keep it moving. You know, I see you out there. Kudos to them photos I saw from y'all in the family and thought they was on point. Again, and Troy and Desi, man, much love to y'all, man. You know, y'all are black. Y'all make black love look good. You make it look really good. Okay. So, my topic today is: do you know the younger you? And it was a reason for me having that topic, because it has something to do with mental health. Okay. So work with me, and I want y'all to ride with me on this, right? Because this is real deep. Because I'm gonna tell you something. You have to go back and evaluate the younger you. You have to go back and meet that you that used to be and understand why you do the things that you do today. A lot of us do not really pay attention to the things that happen in our childhood that dictates the way we are today in society. I'm going to speak a little bit about myself. I remember my mom. My mom's 91 years old. Love you, Mom. Before my father came, who was in the military, it was like paradise in our house. It was crazy love, nothing but me and my baby sister running around, and my two sisters over me, and my brother. I couldn't think of nothing during that time. When I probably was about 6, 7 years old, something like that, before my father had came home from the military, it was just a paradise, you know? And when my dad came home with a lot of issues. He came home with an alcohol problem. He came home being abusive. He came home with a lot of drama. And it changed our life. Now, I don't really want to talk too much about, you know, just all that turmoil. But I just want you to know, as a child, it affected me. It affected me to cause me to act a certain way. Even today, I'm the type that, you know, for real, a lot of guys, they might have thought I was soft or whatever, but I highly recommended that nobody do nothing to me because my father was so abusive to me that I just had it embedded in me. No dude goes and hit me and get away with it. No guy. And it was, and now as a child, I had my run-ins with people or whatever. And ain't nobody out there can say they took my lunch money because that wasn't happening. Because all that trauma that I had at home, I brought out in the streets. I brought it out when I was out there. I wasn't no bully or nothing like that, but I just wasn't the type of person. Nobody was chasing me home. And nobody can say they did that because of my childhood and the drama that I was having at home. I had so much chaos going on in there that it was crazy. Now, in my father, as I said, my father was an alcoholic, right? My father used to drink on a regular, right? I'm not an alcoholic. And it did something to me. It did something to me as a child. As a child, it made me look at people who let alcohol take advantage of them and manipulate them and make them violent and make them mean. It made me don't want to be like that as a child. So when I became an adult, I realized I don't want to have that type of relationship with alcohol. I don't want to expose that to my children. I don't want to have my kids come up where they are being affected by certain things. But what I can tell you is this. Some of the things that I did in my younger years as a father affected my children who are grown today. And when they go back and think about their childhood and they think about these things, it makes them understand why they respond to certain things that happen on a daily basis. And that's what I'm telling you to do. Go back and evaluate your childhood and introduce yourself to the younger you. Talk to that younger you and talk about those things that caused you havoc, caused you headaches, caused you drama. And also not just the bad things, why you are blessed, why you love to praise Yah today, why you are loving the Lord and giving him all the praise. These things are not just something you picked up here and there. These things were placed in you. They were there when you was a child. Did you go back and talk to that child? Did you go back and converse with that child and say, yo, man, I wonder why I'm like this? I realized when I was growing up, and I'm talking a little bit more about me, but I want you to think about, as I'm saying this, think about what happened in your childhood that caused you to be a certain person and make you do the things that you do today. I grew up, I had a lot of aunts. More aunts than I had uncles. So when my aunts came around, they was smiling and kissing on us, and we come from a hug and kissing family. So when my aunts and some of my older cousins came around, they would hug on us and kiss on us. So I took a liking to that. I just love when I used to see my Aunt Lorraine and my Aunt Holly and my Aunt Ruth, because they'd be like, come give me a kiss. And I couldn't wait to go kiss my aunts because they was like the joys of my life, right? Where it also made me so that now as an adult, and I started to get older, I started to find that affection that I wanted from women. Are you working with me? Are you working with me? Go back and think about some of the things. So by me having I always looked at women as this affection. I looked at women as affection. Now, and the thing is, as a child, my father was very abusive, right? So I also thought that being abusive was a part of showing love. I thought that as a child. So when I got older, I had some issues. I had some issues that I had to deal with. I saw my father abusing alcohol. So I had issues that I saw some type of addiction. The only thing is that as a child, it started to affect me in different ways. I wonder, how did your childhood affect you? What about the young ladies who've been molested, raped as a child, and they wonder why they can't hold a good relationship? What about the girl who was molested by her uncle or her cousin? And some of them even the brother, or the next door neighbor. Why they have problems dealing with men? As a child, they start to go through this. And as they become older women, they find themselves where they can't trust a man. What about the girl who molested by another girl? or the boy that was molested by another boy. And when you get older, go back and visit that childhood, that child that you were, and talk to them privately. Ask them how they feel. Ask them where they are today. I give this, I give kudos to my life coach Hanadi Ali, who was the first person that introduced me to my little me. She took me, we was having a session, and she said, Rodney, I want you to just think about the little Rodney and you know, what is it that the little Rodney would say to the big Rodney? And what would the big Rodney say to the little Rodney? And I started to realize that I had to tell the little me, don't worry, nobody's going to hurt you anymore. Nobody's going to be yelling at you and calling you out of your name, or you don't have to see that abuse. And so as I started to really talk to the little me was saying, well, you know what? Can you not let nobody hurt me anymore? Can you make sure that they don't hurt us? And as I got to really start to really know me, I realized something. I didn't have to worry about that. This is something that was in my childhood, and I could work through it. So a lot of us out here wondering why they turn to drugs. Why do you turn to drugs? You got to think about what was you exposed to in your home. I'm gonna give you a prime example. I saw this little boy who was on Facebook or Instagram somewhere, and it was a little tiny boy, and he was walking around all pumped up, and he was cussing and everything, right? And they put that on Facebook. Some of y'all might have saw that. And he was yelling, and his pants was hanging down, and you know, and they was laughing about that. They was laughing about that. Now this is a child, but guess what they was creating? A monster to become an adult, to come into adulthood. We have to be careful. We have to be careful on how we doing this. I don't know why, but I'm going to answer this because this is my wife calling. Hello, Zena, you calling me and I'm on the air. So.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, so yeah, they can actually hear you. So what's going on?
Hello, everybody. Love you. Enjoy the program. PTP.
Okay, so you just.
I'll just call you later.
All right. So anyway, excuse me. I had to answer that the wife's out of town, so I'm sorry. You know, we keep it real on people to people. So what I'm going back to where I'm at. You as a child, had you went back and visited that? A lot of you probably afraid to do it because you're gonna find out truth. So what you got to do is you got to really check out yourself. Check out yourself and see why you are the way you are. Because there are different issues that find you in a situation where you do the things you do today. It's crazy. So again, have you introduced yourself to the little you? We wonder why these kids is out here killing at a young age, using drugs, walking around like they don't care about tomorrow. This is because when they were little, they were actually being programmed. They're being programmed. Now, think about here they are as young adults. They out of control. So many of us have that same issue. We got to go back and we got to look at the things that we are out of control with too. Attitude, lying, cheating, stealing, sex, physical abuse, mental abuse. All of these things when you go back. And if you go back and really address these things, you'll find out that you really had some things as a young person that you got to address with your young person, inner you, and say, we can change this. We can make a difference. We can make life better. We don't have to be abusive. We don't have to go through these things. So I want you to think about that. And when something is on my mind, if I can get Ehab, can you click that light just to make that light go up over there. Because I think, no, not the other one. The other one. Just see if it, yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so y'all work with me. See, me as a young person, I always was trying to, I was always trying to not do things to get me in trouble. It was something that my mom used to say to me, you know, she said, you never finish it. You never finish. You never finish. And so now when as an adult, I start something, I'm constantly beating myself up to say, you got to finish it, even if I know that I can't do it at that time. As a child, that was embedded in me, and as an adult, it affects me. So let's go back to your childhood and relationships. How are you dealing with that? How are you dealing with your jobs? Were you the type of child that always wanted the attention? Were you the type of child that lie on your sister and your brother? Say they did something to you when you know they didn't? And let me tell you something. If you was that child, you that adult. You still do the same thing. See, a lot of people don't want to deal with the truth. Go back and check with the little child. You'll find out why you do the things you do. Why are you that type of person? Why do you get into those positions where you'll be like, oh my God, what's going on with me? What I've been doing, I've been really checking myself, doing my growth with Yah. I've been studying the Bible a lot more, but not just the Bible. I've been studying life. I'm living life, not letting life live me. I'm getting to a point where I'm understanding that I don't have to walk around with grudges and hate inside of me. Because when I was younger, if somebody did something to me, I was mad at them, just mad, and let them disrupt everything around me. As an adult, I've learned not to do that. See, I go back to the younger me. I say, now I know how you would have dealt with it, but how are we going to deal with it today? Life has changed so much. And I'm asking you to go back and check out your younger you so that you can figure out how to treat your wife better, how to treat your children better, how to treat yourself better. Half of us that's out here doing things on a negative note don't even like ourselves. How can you stick some dope in your arm and say you love you? How can you smoke something that somebody gives you and you don't know what chemicals is on it that'll cause your brain to start to fry and you say you love you? What happens is if you go back and talk to that little child, you'll start finding out why you do these things. What causes you to abuse yourself and abuse people around you? It's almost like a child who's been molested. He don't know why he's acting like that. Whether it's a little boy who was molested by one of his older male counterparts or individuals in the neighborhood or a cousin or whatever. Then when he get older, he want to know why the heck is he attracted to boys. Go back and check with that little kid. That little kid will tell you. Same thing with the girls. Why do the girls be so out of control, exposing themselves? Somehow along the line, something happened in their childhood that caused them to go into their adulthood with some of these issues. You want to know why you having these issues, go back and you check that little kid. You know what I did? I went back, I talked to Lil Rodney, and Lil Rodney was like, man, you know what? You don't have to worry about nobody hitting you no more. You don't have to worry about nobody calling you out your name anymore. You don't have to. I used to come in and wouldn't smile. I was always looking serious. I still have that problem. Because most of the time, after my father had came home from the military, we didn't smile a lot anymore. And so as I got older, it became a habit of me just frowning from the very beginning. But let me tell you what I realized too. God bless my father too. I love my dad. Don't get me wrong. I realized when I got to, just before, as an adult, I got to talk to my dad for a little bit. And my dad told me a little bit about his childhood. I started to realize why my father was so dramatized too. See, he didn't get a chance to go back to talk to the little him. He didn't get the chance to do that. And that little him was crying out, help me, scratching and screaming, because he had a lot to deal with too, coming up. And see, when he became an adult, he didn't know how to channel that pain and that hurt. And what happened, it became a problem with us and our family. And how many other people go through that? Now, don't get me wrong. We had a lot of happy times in my home. Don't get it screwed up. Let me tell you something. My mom was a heck of a mother. My mother spoiled all her kids, spoiled us all right, even with the turmoil that was going on. My mother, she was a hell of a mom, still is. My mother's 91 years old, and kudos to my mother and to my aunts and my uncles, man. I can honestly say, man, when I think about them, I just smile and just feel blessed, because they gave me what I am today as an adult. See, that love that my aunts and them gave me. I had an aunt, we called her Aunt Teresa. Her name was Teresa. And my Aunt Teresa was into the Lord so heavy. She loved praising God. And so she had us going to Bible study and going to all kind of different things as a child. So that's why Yah is so in my head and in my spirit. My grandmother, my grandfather, my mother, we was praying. We came up in a praying family. So as an adult, when I talk to the little me, I be like, man, I can think about those days that I know that God was protecting us. He was helping us, you know. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna see real quick. I'm gonna see if I can get Ehud to jump in here for a minute.
Oh,
yeah, because just Ehud, I'm gonna ask you,
You sure about that?
Yeah. For you as a child, do you think that you had the opportunity to go back and really, talk to the little you?
I never thought about it, by the way.
You never thought about it?
No, never thought about it. But sometimes like when you think about it as your childhood, a certain situation, it's still like in your brain, because unresolved issues.
Yes.
And then when you think about it, I could have handled this better, or I could have said that.
Yeah.
This kind of.
So you find yourself sometime where you can say, as a child, if you go back and think about it, it's part of the reason why you do some of the things you do today.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's true.
Even I wonder about bullies. Why do kids bully other kids? You know why? Because most of them didn't get an attention when they was in the house as a child. So when they get out and they start to become adults, they start to bullying people, trying to dominate people. Because a lot of bullies ain't nothing but punks. For real. Yeah. A lot of bullies ain't nothing but big punks. Because they probably was chumped and picked on most of their life. So now they try to get out there and do it to somebody else as they start to develop into adulthood. And we talking about, I was talking to a young lady, and she was telling me how she was passed around in her family. You know what? Man, when I was listening to her, I realized something. Her story is amazing as an adult. Yeah. Her story is amazing because what she experienced as a child, I'm trying to tell you, I realized, guess what? It's many times that she's going to be really sitting down, and when she think about her childhood, tears is going to start falling from her eyes. She's going to start saying, man, I went through this, I went through that. And a lot of that makes a big difference in who you are as an adult. I was talking to my oldest son, and just listening to him, he taught me a lot. And even to my oldest son as a child, I realized that even him had to go back and talk to his little child that he was with himself to understand where he is today. And a lot of us need to do that. You're not crazy. Just go back and figure it out. You'll find out why you're still lying and cheating and treating people and not being honest. Or you'll find out why you're so affectionate and why you pray every day. Because you as a child, these things are embedded. I met a friend of mine told me, she said that as a child, when she was young, this guy, he raped her while they was taking a walk. Now, let me tell you what I know for a fact. As she got older, she saw that aggressiveness as also something that's acceptable, because she wasn't able to tell nobody. She wasn't able to, express it. So as she got older, it happened to her probably more than a couple of times that somebody took advantage of her. But as a child, the child was made it look like, you okay, you all right, you okay. Well, then when she became an adult, she realized something. Guess what? I don't want no man to touch me like this. I don't want no man to be aggressive to me like this. And after a while, she started to get confused what she want and she don't want. And then she sees something different, and it could be a woman. There comes another woman come to her and giving her something that she's never experienced, and she finds herself saying, why am I looking to another woman for what I'm supposed to be getting from a man? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to bash nobody about, your preference, but I'm just trying to get you to think about some of the things that happen to young people as they are children and how they respond as adults. Many women have been abused by men who now they just turn to another woman to get their affection. When we talk about, like, let's even go to this. I watch the black and white movies. I love the Westerns. I love them. I love watching them. But this is the thing. Sometimes as a child, I used to really get into it, but I used to wonder, where was all the black people? I was like, man, there ain't hardly no black people. I see the Indians and the white people, but I ain't see many black people. And then when I did see some black people, they ain't had no shoes on, or they was talking. Go ahead, come here, go, come here.
They're not called Indians. They're called Native Americans.
Native Americans, correction.
I'm just wanted to.
No, I'm glad you said that. Native Americans.
Yes.
Right.
The originals.
The originals, right? You know why I said Indians?
Why?
Because as a child, that's what they called them. And he just correct me.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? They Native Americans.
True.
Right? And the true Americans.
Yeah.
Okay? But you just think about it. As a child, we are taught to believe and do certain things. A lot of us. We're looking at our young people right now. In order for us to start to be able to get them, you got to get them young. Let me tell you something about some of your young parents. You letting your kids talk back to you. Let me tell you something. Me growing up, I was born in 1960. If I had to say anything back to one of my parents, all the way up to the age of 18, while I was still living in their house, I would be wearing dentures. Because they'd have knocked my teeth clean out if you living under their roof. And that wasn't abuse. What they was establishing back then was the point of respect. We got children out here they're young, and now they're growing into their adulthood, that they didn't have no respect instilled in them as they were young. So now becoming adults, they walk around and they like walking maniacs. And we wonder why. Go back and check how they was raised. Check where they were as little kids. I got some people, even in my family, I think about, when I look at them and I think about them as children, I say, man, now I know why they treat me this way, why they treat themselves this way. Some of the things they had to deal with as a child. It molds your personality. Have you went back and checked introduce yourself to your younger you? Have you went back and evaluate yourself and find out why you do the things you do? Some of you got secrets you can't even tell nobody as a child, but it affects you each day, every time that you go by. Every day to go by, something from your childhood affects you as an adult. Most of us who run around here thinking you superheroes, guess what? You was nothing when you was a child. You was probably a crybaby, a person who was always being picked on or looked down upon. And now as an adult, you walked around with your chest pumped out like you all that. And really, half of you just walking around is dressed up trash cans, because on the inside of you, you still got a lot of garbage. And I'm not trying to belittle nobody, because a lot of you are doing some positive things that from a childhood that was instilled in you, that you turned out to be hell of individuals. But when you go back and you introduce yourself to that little child, it'll make you think about why you are the way you are. You know, you got some little kids that they constantly being around individuals who's reading the word, who's studying the Holy Quran, or they studying the Bible, or they studying the history of religion. And you find little kids that's able to pray, and they out here just, you be like little boys, and then when they grow up, they turn out to be powerful, powerful leaders. Huh? They go back and they talk to that child. They go back and they take that as the child and go into their adulthood, and they make it work for them. My purpose for this conversation today is for many of us, I'm telling you, we're struggling. And I know a lot of us don't want to deal with the truth, but you need to go back and check your little you and figure out what was going on then. Go back and think about how you treated people when you were younger and how they treated you and how you treating them today. You know, because my father was so abusive in our home, I cry for my children. I cry for my kids.
So I have a question for you, Rodney.
Okay, go ahead.
So that doesn't make you stronger as a kid when you've been subjected to all this abuse. How did it affect your character as you now as Rodney?
Well, let me say this. I'm not going to say that it didn't make me stronger. It just made me show more attention. Yeah. Even like to my grandchildren and to my kids. I'm at a point like I don't want them to. I don't cuss around my grandchildren. My father used to cuss, man. He used to call us names, and so I don't do that. And as far as me as an individual, it did make me a lot stronger, because I'm gonna tell you something. The way my father used to beat us, guess what? Ain't no dude gonna hit me and get away with it. So it did affect me. But guess what? I don't walk around hitting nobody either, because I didn't like the way it felt. I'm not no bully.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about in a positive way. So it might affect you in a positive way and in a negative way.
Okay.
So let's talk about the negative, and then we'll go to the positive.
Okay, the negative part of it was that I used to be hurting so privately inside. I used to be where many times even by myself I would cry. Many times I didn't know how to deal with other men because of the abuse that I received from my dad, and it was rough, and then you know just some of the things that I experienced in the street, the drugs that I saw people doing. I am not a drug abuser. Oh, heck to the no. I saw dudes running through the alleys. I ain't gonna call out their names. That used to live a couple of blocks from me. They done peed on themselves and some more stuff. They just got through shooting up. I used to look at them and said, "You got to be kidding me." But it's something in their upbringing, in their childhood, that caused them to go that direction. It is something. I don't know what their parents was doing around them. You think about it. If you smoke cigarettes or you smoke marijuana around your little kids, 9 out of 10, they're going to smoke when they get older as adults. And how do it affect you? So you said that we talking about some of the negative. Let's go to the positive. Let's go to the positive. Let me tell you something. Was positive that around me, it was a lot of love from my aunts and my mother. Oh man, let me tell you something. I was the spoiled child. I was spoiled rotten at one time by my sisters and my brother. I was a spoiled child. And guess what? As an adult, I like to be spoiled. But I like spoiling people because I know how it feels. Let me tell you something else. I'm at a point like this. I believe in helping people, because that's what people did on the block that I grew up on. They helped me. It was many people that gave me knowledge on that block as a child. They embedded things in me. My next door neighbor, Otis Jones, God bless his soul, he's deceased now. But he was a man that told me, after he saw my father, the way my father had a disruptor, he lived next door to me, and the next day he said, "You all right, little guy?" And he gave me the lawnmower. He gave me the key to his lawnmower and told me how to go and make honest money as a child. So how did it affect me as an older person? It showed me some ethics. It showed me how to go out and work for what I got to get and what I want. Let me tell you a little short story. I was running around with these guys who were very, very close to me, Sko and Jib. Now, y'all, I'm giving you their nicknames, and everybody who know them, I ain't gonna say their real name, but their nicknames, you know who they are, right? So we was running around, we was off the chain, okay, coming up. One day we went down to this pet store, and we went down to rob it. And when we went in, as children, we was young boys. We had to be 13, 14 years old, thinking we going down here to rob this place, right? And what happened? The guy in there, he chased us out, and he grabbed me. He grabbed me by the collar. A white gentleman, right, named Russ. Now, it's a child. I always go back to that little child, that white man grabbed me by my collar and looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And said, "You come back and talk to me." As a young child, right? He put something in me. He put something in me. He showed me some affection. He taught me something. He taught me how to do fish. He taught me how to breed fish. He taught me how to tell male and females. He taught me how to come. He even told me, he said, "You don't have to steal nothing. You come on back down here." Now, let me tell you something. How did it affect me as an adult? I got a beautiful 125-gallon aquarium in my living room right now that I can breed my fish. I got babies in there right now. I got fish in there that don't even supposed to be in there together. Because you know something? It was planted, and I go back as that little child, and I deal with that as an adult. That's some positive things. That man, and let me tell you something, what I got out of that. I also, growing up in that time, there was a lot of racial hatred going on. But guess what? It was a white man that actually was helping me when my father was beating me. Isn't that something? Huh? As a child. So I was able to also realize that sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with the skin. It's the heart. It's what's inside you. So what did it do? As an adult, I can love any man. I can respect any man. White, black, Asian, Mexican, Native American. I can love any man. That guy, his name was Russ. And he gave me something that I would never, ever, ever, ever just say thank you enough. Because during that time, even in my household, the man that was supposed to be leading me the right way wasn't doing it, and another man did. So when you go back to that child, you can go find a lot of things, good and bad, that you can understand why you are the way you are today. Let me tell you something. In my marriages, in my first two marriages, I had some real issues with myself. I'm never going to say nothing bad about my children's mom, because I loved them at one time. But when I start to think about some of the things that I did, it was because as a child that I did not know how to deal with it as an adult. Rejection. Not trusting. Not understanding putting God first. Not knowing my position as a man. As I became an adult, I went back and I started to decipher these things. I know that my wife is not somebody for me to beat on. My wife is not somebody for me to own or disrespect or call her names. My grandchildren are not supposed to be in there listening to me talk to their grandmother, calling her the B word or yelling at her. My grandson's supposed to see me as I open the door for their grandmother. And even my sons who are older now. My biological sons and my stepsons. What they see me being a man, a real man. I'm handling my business. I'm not cheating. I'm not stealing. I'm not lying. I'm not out here doing anything negative except moving in the right direction, because I went back and talked to the little me and said, big me, be a better, be that what you really supposed to be. All that negative energy, all that negative stuff that we got when we was a little boy, guess what? We can deal with that, and we can kick it to the curb, and we can tweak up the things we need to tweak up and fix it. Have you went back and checked the little you and figure out why you do the things you do? Go back and check yourself out. I guarantee you, you're going to be sitting sometimes and look and wonder why. Why did I start smoking cigarettes? You only start smoking because you saw somebody else doing it. You ain't just happen to one day say, I want to put a cigarette in my mouth. 9 out of 10, one of your cousin, brother, sister, uncle, your next door neighbor, somebody around you was smoking. Half of you out there that's doing drugs. The reason why you doing them because you saw somebody else doing it. And half of you out there that don't take care of yourself and abuse your body by putting that garbage in you, guess what? It's because you wasn't taught to love yourself as a child. As a child, if you taught to love yourself, then you won't do things to cause harm to yourself. If you taught to pray and trust in Yah, then guess what? You will know that any time that you turn to him, that he'll have your back 100%. I watch even Ehab when I see him praying. We have, you know, we call them religions. I don't call them religions. You know what I call them? I call them you going to the Creator the way you know how to go to him. But when I watch him, you know, and Ehab, you know, when you be praying, right?
Yeah.
Well, how did you learn to do that? When did you learn to do that?
Brought up by a Muslim family, my father and my mother, you know, and you see everybody prayer. And on Friday, you have everybody goes to the masjid, where the place they pray, which is in English they call it the mosque. Okay, and that's it.
So why do you still do it today?
You know, I wasn't doing it at the beginning. You know, I just do it because you were afraid of embarrassment. How come you didn't show up on Friday prayers when you were a kid? But then when I went overseas to Budapest, studying architecture there, and then, you know, I start praying out of just like, I don't know why. Don't ask me why.
So you weren't introduced to praying when you was a child?
I was introduced to it when I was a child, but I wasn't consistent on it.
Okay, you weren't consistent, but now that you're an adult, now you are consistent.
Of course, yeah.
Okay,
because you feel that it relaxes you. You know, you get a different feeling when you pray. If I don't pray, I feel something wrong with my day, or with my life. You have to.
But as a child, you didn't feel that.
No, you know, as a child, you just want to run around with your friend, hang out, do stupid things wherever it is. You know, it's not like that. Yeah. So.
But you did see your father pray.
No, I didn't see my father pray.
Who you saw pray?
My mom.
Okay, you saw your mother pray.
Yes.
So sometimes when you pray, do you think about your mom?
Not really, no.
So, because you trying to tell me that you praying as a child have nothing to do with you praying as an adult?
No. To me, it's different. Just
explain, because I wanna understand that.
How can I say that? Okay, let's put it this way. So you grew up in a Muslim family, right? You're a Muslim by default. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
But I didn't get introduced to Islam the way I am until I was an adult. I started researching about it. I started reading about it. I knowing about it.
Who taught you how to read? Who taught you how
to read about it? Right.
Right.
It was a friend of his brother, actually.
And this all happened as an adult.
That was exactly as an adult. You know, he told me, you know what?
So nothing. When I'm asking you is, so you're saying that everything you do today has nothing to do with your childhood?
No. It's not. No. It has nothing to do with my childhood.
So you don't. So you think that you was a perfect child?
Oh no, I didn't say that I was a perfect child.
No, I'm just asking because I look at some of the things that you do, and some of the things you do, I wonder why you do it. And I'm saying, as a child, these things are a part of your character. These things are not things that...
I'm sure it is, but I don't think about it this way. You see, I cannot analyze myself, you know.
So you don't think when you go and look in the mirror at yourself that you can see your faults?
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, that's true.
So that's what I'm saying. So you think that you're a nice guy just because you grew up to be a nice guy, not because people around you saw...
No, of course, because of people around me. Now, I think maybe I'm misspoken. I didn't explain myself better. Of course, the environment. That's how we were brought up.
Okay, so your environment plays a factor.
Of course, big time.
Right. So that's my whole point. If you was brought up in an environment where nobody prayed in your family, 9 out of 10, then you coming up, you would not be able to look to what do you call the Creator? Allah.
Allah.
Okay. So, what did your mother call him?
Allah.
Okay.
Yeah. All the Muslims, they call it Allah.
Okay. But as a child, you heard that.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, let me show you something. I call my creator now Yah.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because I'm starting to find out what his real title is, right? But coming up as a child, I just said God.
God, Lord, right? I mean, they have different.
Now, the thing is, as a child, I didn't do the investigation, so I just listened to what people said, and I said God, and I thought that, okay, when I say God, I'm speaking to Yah. But guess what? There are many gods.
Yeah.
So as I found out as a child, I wasn't, you know, I didn't have the real concept, but as I moved into adulthood, then what did I do? I start finding out the real truth and the real factor. But this is from my childhood that I started to walk that path. See, I give you a prime example.
Yeah.
If you grew up in a house where it was nothing but gangsters,
Yeah.
9 out of 10, your butt going to jail or you're going to be a judge.
I mean, because this is your environment. This is what you've been brought up.
Okay, so that's my point.
Yeah.
When I was asking you, as far as you're concerned, you as a child, you don't look at none of the things that you do as a child. How do you treat you got kids, right?
Yeah.
Do you treat your kids the way that your parents treat you?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, and even better. I hope.
Okay, so my point, that's my
course.
point. So
Yeah.
as a child, how do you know how to be a parent?
Because you see your family, how they're like. Remember something, Rodney. I mean, our community, being in Sudanese, being in Africa, we are a very close community. We're a very tight community.
Well, don't get it confused. Guess what?
Yeah.
In America,
Yeah.
we a close community too. We close. We love. We just like, you know, everybody had their different cultures.
Yeah.
But we're close too. You know, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as a child, when we come up, we have to experience these things. But my point what I want to get out of this whole thing is this. A lot of us, let me tell you something. You go back and you check your childhood out, you'll find out why you do what you do, why you use profanity, why you're mean to your siblings and stuff like this. Like this. I talk to some people who brothers and sisters, right? Brothers and sisters, they wondering why they don't get along as adults. Go back and check your childhood out. Go back and check your childhood out and figure it out. Why the dude down the street, why you don't like him when you see him as a grown man? Because as a young kid, he probably used to try to take your lunch money, or he was trying to chump you, or whatever the case may be. But as an adult, you have a different perspective. So when you see him as an adult, you got a different way that you deal with him. But this is from your childhood. Why is it that normally as a child you would run across the street without looking, but as an adult you make sure you look? You know why? Because a lot of us, probably like myself, running across the street, I got hit by a car. Let me tell you, I always look because as an adult I know what it feels like to get hit. Why is it that I don't smoke cigarettes? You know why? Because I used to smoke cigarettes because my mother and father used to smoke them. And as I started to pick them up, I was just doing what I saw as a child. But as I became an adult, then I start to investigate and I start to learn. And what did I do? I put the cigarettes down. I put them down. My point I want you to get from this talk today, and that is this. Go back and check your childhood out. And you're going to see some of your habits and why you do the things you do. If you want to try to take the credit for it, that's fine. Some people can. But I'm telling you, what you did as a child, some people ain't going to tell the truth what they do in the bathroom when they by themselves, or under the covers, or in the closet. Because they was doing it as a child. Now they just sit in their living room. Because they're adults, they get away with it. We want to know why. Do you think that all of a sudden somebody just come out to be a child molester? 99.9% of the time, the molester been molested. 99.9% of the time, that's why they do it. How do people become fighters? You grow up in a house with 9 brothers. I guarantee you're gonna be a fighter. And most likely the oldest one is gonna be the one that really whoop your butt, and the youngest one is gonna be the one gonna give you hell. Or, you know, if you see, my point is this. When you think back on your childhood, it starts to develop your character. I'm not calling these people names, but some people I grew up around and saw them grow up, I saw them spoiled rotten. And they off the chain now. Off the chain. I watched them. Parents gave them everything they want. Let them talk back to them sometime. One of them is in jail. The other one, you know, man. I'm telling you, some of these people, I watched them go through these things. I watched how, as a child, how they was given everything. And as adults, they don't appreciate nothing. I looked at some of the people who came up bullying people as a child, and when they grew up, now they can't even walk with their head up. They can't look at certain people in their eye. Because that little person go to the big person, they say, you try to bully them again today, something else going to happen. They're not going to let you take their money. That little child, tell them that. Tell the big person. You think about your life. Think about where you were as a child. And think about the children that's around you. If we want to make changes, we got to introduce ourselves to that little us so we can make sure that we're not running around here having mental issues from the abuse, from the neglect, and things of that nature that we had to experience as a child. I'm not a psychologist or nothing. I'm just using a little common sense here. If you really sit back, I'm telling you why you're by yourself, and you think back why you do the things you do today. I don't know why I always wanted to play the piano. But yes, I do know why. You know why? Because my grandmother used to play it, and I used to love when my grandmother would be playing, and I just couldn't figure out how she could make the sounds come out the way it was, and she would run her fingers up and down the keyboard. But as a child, I was fascinated about it. So what do? Every now and then when I get a keyboard around me, I get on there and I just act like I can play it. I can make some of it sound good. You know what? Because as a child, that's what I experienced, and it was embedded. And as an adult, I took it and I started to take it and say, man, maybe I can do this, or maybe I can make this work. And that's what happened with a lot of us. You know, when you think about this, a lot of times you talk to parents, you say, why do you spoil your kids so much? And the first thing they say, because when I was a child, I didn't get all this. Think about it. First thing we say. When I was a child, I just don't want to expose my child to that. But you be messing up. Because you got to go back and think. What did it do to you? How did you turn out? You got to think about those things. Let me tell you something. My grandchildren, when they come in my house, they do not run my house. You understand? Because guess what? In my grandparents' house, I did not run it. I respected it. And as a 62-year-old man today, I respect people's homes. I respect people's place. Because that was put into me as a child. And I go back and I visit that little boy. I remember that little boy having to say, yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. So that means when I'm dealing with somebody else, I deal with them with respect. I'm not putting no drugs in my arm because I've seen so many people die from it. And I learned to love me. I'm not going to abuse my children, my grandchildren, when I know what that did to me. Many of us got to go back and check that little you and find out why you do the things you do. Why you like to sing. Why you like to dance? Who was that uncle that always played the music around you and you was listening to him and be saying, oh man, I'm glad when Uncle Billy come around? Huh? Who was that aunt that always came up and said, boy, come give me a hug, and showed you that love? And then you was able to do that to somebody else to show that love. I was talking to a young lady today, you know, when it's almost like this, I'm talking about as a child and going into it being an adult. It's almost like when you're driving and you're going in the same direction with so many cars. If you become real aggressive with the cars around you, what happens? The other cars become aggressive too. What happens? People start to pick up, and they pick it up and they carry it on. By the time you look, everybody blowing a horn, and now there's negative energy. You know something? That's the same way with being a child. The things you were doing. If you have your child reading the Bible and studying and let them know what the Creator name is, who the Creator is, then you will have him that he'll start to deal with the truth. Let me tell you something that was so funny. When I was coming up, I didn't even think that there was a black fairy. I thought all the fairies was white. Right? I didn't even think that Native Americans ever won many of the wars, because as a child, I always seen them getting beat up and hung and all that. As a child. But as a child, when I see the way people show love, and I saw the ones that turned out pretty good, I was like, man, as a child, I knew how to do that as an adult. So now, when I look at those movies, I don't really get into it, because I don't see many black people in the black and whites. I really don't. But I still enjoy my black and white movies. And let me tell you something. Even as a child, they wanted me to believe that even as a black man, I wasn't worth nothing. But I am a king. I'm a powerful black man. But as a child, they tried to put that in my head, that I should always be uncomfortable around other people, that I should be looked down upon. But as a man, when I look at that little boy that didn't, when I was coming up in 1960, from 1960 to 1968, 1969, 1970, let me tell you something, they still had some people riding on the back of the bus, blacks. That wasn't that long ago. Today, it's funny. Why do most of the people get on the bus most of the black people go all the way to the back when they can ride on the front? Because as a child, it was embedded.
So they didn't put this behind them.
Huh?
They didn't put this behind them. They're still in their brains.
Well,
still,
you know, some things you can't put behind you.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's so funny, right? As we talked about this on one of the programs, who's driving the car? Inside in the car, you got the big windshield.
Yeah.
Right? But guess what? You also have that rear view mirror. And you got the two side mirrors. What do you look and see? You see what's in the back of you. And sometimes you have to see what you pass to know where you're going.
I mean, this is exactly what Zena, she commented, say, Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me.
Yes. And that's what I'm talking about. You go back and introduce yourself to yourself. Sometimes you gotta know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's people to people, power to power, power to thank people. Let me tell you something. I just had the opportunity just to try to get your message to you. I hope that you took it. I hope that everything worked. Remember our cash app is the $1960. It's RG 1960. The $RG 1960. We are welcome to be blessed. We love when you do things for the program. Believe me, we're moving forward. We got a lot of good things coming up. Y'all got to hang out with us. Remember, and I'm going to tell y'all, I got a good treat for you on Friday, this Friday, date night. I got Jay Tan coming in. This music artist is from Alexandria, Virginia. The man is amazing, man. What he doing, the music, man. I hung out with him over the weekend, and man, had a good time. And just it's gonna be a real good time inside the studio, as we gonna bring also DJ Soprano is gonna be in the studio as well. And I just want you to know, go back, talk to the little you, and you'll know why you do the things you do. God bless. Every Wednesday night.